We finally have a solution to our full-time RV internet issue.
And today we're going to share it with you.
All right, before we tell you what fancy RV internet system we have now, Phil's going to tell you what we had before.
Yeah, we had this little guy here. It's an AT&T hotspot, and it did work pretty well for us most of the time.
Some of the time.
Yeah, we did have a WeBoost that we would have to put out when our signal was really bad, and that did help. But we were always having to reboot, move it around the RV to try to find the right window that had the good signal and whatnot. So it did serve its purpose when we started out. But we're glad this thing is done.
Yeah,
we're done with it.
It's awful. Terrible. And actually our provider that we had through AT&T lost our contract with AT&T. So in March, right as COVID hit, we didn't have anything. We were using park Wi-Fi for a little while. It was awful.
Yeah, and those of you that have had to connect to park Wi-Fi, it's not the best,
and
nor is it the most secure.
No, and you cannot upload a video from most of it. So we
No.
were running around to find Starbucks or McDonald's or somebody with Wi-Fi for that occasionally.
Yeah. The only thing that it was good for is when we were thinking about changing locations, we would throw this in the Jeep and we would go to a new location and we would say, nope, still sucks. So that, it did serve multiple functions for us. And if you hear some water slurping, it's just Gizmo.
He's drinking some water.
He's a little thirsty.
All right, so numbers before we got the new system.
Yeah, we were dragging, and when I say we were dragging, we had a big old carrier anchor that we were dragging. That's how slow we were moving. We were in.
Okay, that's Navy talk.
Yeah.
Carrier anchor.
As you can see here, we were getting 1.9 megabytes down up to 5 and 9. But then you can see the day that we switched over to the new modem, we started getting double-digit speeds. We never, that I can remember, never saw speeds like this on that little hotspot that we had. No matter where we were, what angle we were sitting at, with the WeBoost, we didn't get speeds like this. So as you can see, the proof is in the pudding.
So what we decided to go with is from the company called Mobile Must Have. And this company is actually owned by RVers. I don't know if they're still full-time RVers, but I know they were for a while. But the bundle that we decided to get, I'm reading it in case you're wondering, is the Ultimate Road Warrior Bundle with pointing. The reason we decided to go with this bundle is because we upload videos and we use a lot, gigabytes, megabytes, whatever you want to call it, on the internet. You may not need a bundle with everything that we have. There are many bundles at Mobile Must Haves, and you can go check it out. They're cheaper as well as more expensive bundles. So, if you're working from home and you need more than what we have, they offer that as well. So let's break down exactly what we have here for our internet needs.
Yeah, so to start out with, this is the little beauty, the dual modem that Stacy was talking about. And what do we mean by dual modem? Well, under this dust cover right here is a spot that you can put 2 SIM cards per modem. So that gives you 4 slots for 4 SIM cards. And what do the SIM cards do for you? Well, the SIM cards are attached to a particular cell service or cell provider. AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint. Well, I think T-Mobile and Sprint have merged. So you have 4 options. Yeah. And you can have different plans, SIMs. I mean, it's just whatever you're looking to pull in, there's a plan out there. We chose the dual modem because eventually we're going to have 2 different cell providers as a failover. Yeah. I guess is lack of a better term. So yeah. if our AT&T, for example, isn't as strong in an area that we're at, and we have a Verizon, the Verizon will kick over, or we can switch over to it, and then we're good to go. We won't lose anything.
Right. Now, mind you, that being said, not everyone, has uploading needs like we do. And for streaming, you probably won't need 2 modems, but it is what our needs are. And although we only have 1 carrier right now, eventually we'll probably add a second one.
Right. They do have single modems that you can purchase. So if you have a SIM already in a hotspot, you can put it in there, and you can go from there. Most of the plans out there, if you just want to stream and check email and maybe FaceTime the grandkids every now and then, there's a plan out there that you can find that you don't have to get a beefier system as we have.
All right, let's tell them what we like most about this modem and why we chose it.
Okay, but first I got to switch pages here.
Oh, no. Hold on. We have to do our notes. Let me show you what it looks like. I'll show you our behind the scenes. Sometimes we are a little scripted. Wait, hold on. Here's Phil. There you go. All right. So this is a pep wave. So filament. Phil? Filament?
Well,
Philly?
well played, Cotton.
Phyllis? Phil?
Do have the PepWave Max Transit Duo modem. I really like the fact that here it is right now with 6 of the 7 antennas that are attached to it. So we have 2 Wi-Fi, both 2.4 and 4 and 5.8 gigahertz. That just lets you know your speed, your range, that this, that, and the other. We're not going to get too technical with you. And then it has 4 cellular antennas that you can attach to the modem directly and have it anywhere inside your RV. So as most of you know, newsflash, we have a YouTube channel, so it requires us to have a little bit more download and upload speeds than most folks. For those of you that need to be hardwired or plugged in to your internet system, have no fear. There's 2 LAN ports on the back side or the front side of your PepWave, so they got you covered there. I failed to mention that this is a Cat 12 dual.
A deer, a female deer.
This is sounds like, I don't know if I should say third. This is a Cat 12 Duo modem. And what is a Cat 12? Cat 12 just lets you know that it's a category of speed. So it's a max of 600 megabytes down and 100 megabytes up. That's what Cat 12 does for you.
Yeah. Now this also can work as a WAN.
And Wi-Fi is WAN. The WAN stands for Wide Area Network. So it allows you to reach out, grab those open Wi-Fi sources, such as an RV park, a McDonald's parking lot, or a Starbucks, bring it into your rig and broadcast it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Now, one good thing about this, if you do have dual carriers, this does something called load balancing, and all that does is it helps send the signal to either one of those to make sure the workload is not too heavy for one while the other one's sitting idle. So it's just a fancy way of deciding which way to send and receive.
Another cool feature is Band 14, and Band 14 is an open net that is most commonly used for public safety networks, but they've partnered with AT&T to allow Band 14 to be used on their modem.
Yeah, so it just gives more options as far as bandwidth.
Right.
All right, and last but not least, for this component, you can hardwire this directly into your RV, or you can just plug it right in, which is what we're doing because where we're putting this in the cabinet, which is actually right behind our head, there's an outlet right there. So we'll just do it the easy way.
Yeah, I know you said there's 6 of 7 antennas attached here, and there's one port that's not been covered. This here is the GPS antenna that you can hook directly to this. And GPS for this modem, or as we speak, is kind of like a low jack. So if you ever misplace your modem or your rig comes up missing, you'll be able to log in and it'll tell you exactly where it is.
All right, so let's move on to the next part of our system, and that is this bad boy right here, which is a fancy antenna.
And I got to change notes again.
Oh, hold on. All right, we want to make sure we don't leave anything out for you guys. All the important parts anyway.
So this here is the 7-in-1 pointing antenna. And the 7 are the same 7 connections or same antenna connections that you have on the modem here. So you have 2 Wi-Fi, 4 cellular, and the 1 GPS port.
I feel like Vanna White right now.
Yes. There you go.
So we don't always need this. As you can see, we have not mounted it on the roof yet, but we have had to pull it out a couple times when our signal was really weak, and this did make a huge difference in our signal. And all you're going to do is take these off the back, you're going to put this on the roof, run it down in, and you're going to connect these instead.
Yeah, and the reason we haven't attached it to the roof yet is because I'm a big old chicken, and I haven't drilled a hole in the roof into this cabinet above us, so that we can run the wiring straight in.
Yeah.
Now the antenna does allow you to run the cabling straight in. So if you had a hole in your roof, you could just set it right over the top, caulk it, die-core it, whatever you need to do, seal it off. Or you can run it out the back of the antenna like so and run it to a hole that's elsewhere, or a combiner box or something else to bring it into your RV. The other good thing about the connections are they're actually color-coded and labeled for you already. So that's really cool when you're running it through, ports in your roof or in the side of your RV to run it into your rig.
Yeah, and there's 2 ways to permanently affix it to your rig. One is this handy-dandy foam, I want to call it a sticker, but I guess that's not really what it is.
No, it's a peel and stick. So you peel it, stick it on the bottom, peel the other end, stick it to your roof, and then you would Dicor it or caulk it, whatever you needed to do to protect it or protect water from coming into your rig.
Yep. Or you can upgrade and get a magnet. So we know a lot of you guys get lost when it comes to internet. What do we get? What equipment we need? How do we hook it up? So we wanted to let you know that in 2021, Mobile Must Have is going to have a package that you can purchase for 99 bucks that will remotely set up your equipment after you receive it.
Yeah, because RV Wi-Fi is tricky. So if, we get asked a ton of questions. What do you use? How do you use it? What do I need? And all of that varies. But Mobile Must Have is taking the guesswork out of setting up your system. If you want to do it yourself, they'll send you an email with the instructions and a guide, and it'll walk you through it. But for 99 bucks, they make sure that the firmware is up to date. They help set up your password, your name, your Wi-Fi name. I mean, you name it, they're there to help you.
Yeah, so that is an option for you if you're nervous about setting all this up yourself. All right, so next up, if you want to go check out Mobile Must Haves and all their bundles they offer, if you have questions, we do want to fill you in on a little thing, and that is you can't call them with questions as far as what bundle do I need, what should I do, because right now their phone lines can't handle it. And we're going to blame that on Chad and Tara, who a couple months ago, they actually have this, is it the exact same system?
So yeah, I think it is, or very similar, yeah.
They actually have a system for Mobile Must Have, and they put out a video, and then they were just overrun with calls, and their system just couldn't handle it.
Which is a good problem to have if you're a Mobile Must Have.
Yeah, it is.
People are interested in the product.
Yeah. So how they're handling that at the moment is they are answering email. It's easier for them to answer email. So if you have a what do I need or please explain this bundle to me, if you send them an email, they are answering them pretty quickly. They will get back to you, and you can go back and forth and figure out what your needs are.
They also have a chat window on their website, so you can send them a message that way as well. And if you do call them, if you're one of those stubborn guys like me that's going to call anyway, their recording says leave an email or join
Go
the
to
chat.
The chat.
Yeah, so we're going to help cut out the middleman. And they do have an AT&T plan, but those plans are subject to change.
Yeah,
so when you're looking at maybe purchasing the plan that they have on their website, read the small print, see if it's going to work for you. Maybe it'll be overkill. Maybe you don't need that.
Right.
But make sure on all of the products that we've listed here that you go in and you read the description and make sure that it works for you. And just know that products change, pricing changes, plans changes.
Especially for the internet. We all know next month everything we have could change and be less data, go to limit. It's crazy how it changes every month.
Right. So I mean, just know what you're getting into up front, and it's nothing that we're all not used to, because it does happen day to day.
And just so you know, the AT&T plan that they offer is probably overkill for probably 80% of people out there. If you're not working from home, you don't have a YouTube channel, it's probably more expensive and more data than you could ever use. So check it out and then compare it with other plans and see what works best for you. I will never say this is the plan you should have, because everybody's needs are different. So go ahead and check out, see how much data you've used over the past few months, and then that way you'll know if this is sorry, it's my kiddo. That way you'll know which plan is best for you.
Yeah, and we don't know what plans are out there because there's so many to choose from. We just know that the one we're using works for us. So once we found them, we stopped searching.
Yeah, so don't ask us what we found, because it's been a good 4 or 5 months, because we've been using this for a couple months already since Phil has done the research on it. And like we said, the plans change all the time. So we don't have an answer to that question.
Yeah, and and what's the perfect setup? Our perfect setup is going to be different from yours. So we ask you to do your research.
So if you have questions, though, you can go to Mobile Must Have and send them an email and tell them what you're doing. If you're only streaming and maybe FaceTiming the grandkids, once a month, they can tell you, what your needs are. If you're staying in an RV park in the city, as opposed to somebody who's out in the boondocks all the time, your needs are also going to be different. Right. So, all right. So we are affiliates with Mobile Must Haves. So we have our affiliate link down below. If you want to click that link and check out their offerings, you can see what'll work for you.
Yeah, and the proof is in the pudding. We've showed you the numbers that indicate the speeds that we had with our hotspot compared to the cell modem. And our RV Wi-Fi and RV internet It's just, I mean,
We're so happy
yeah,
now.
we can't believe the speeds we're getting. And we've had some speeds that are a little lower than what we've shown, but they're a lot higher than what we had with our
Yeah.
hotspot. So just keep in mind that location
Yes.
will vary depending on where you are in relation to the antenna, what server it reaches out to. So know all of those things up front.
Yeah. There's no such thing as perfect internet, no matter what. I think they're emptying the dumpsters.
I
But
hope so. It sounds like a shotgun.
we, like he said, we are very happy with our internet now. So hopefully this helps you guys out.
Yeah.
All right, is that it?
I guess that's it. We wanted to keep it short and sweet. We just wanted to show you what we have, what's working for us now, and we think after you do your homework, we think that something in this arena will work for you as well.
Yep. All right, thanks again for watching, and hopefully next year COVID is a thing of the past and we can see you on the road.